Greetings, everyone. My name is Latoya Irving, and I want to be the first to welcome you to Meriton Robotics. Congratulations on your new role. I know that you will be excited to work with Meriton Robotics, and I am just so excited to follow you on your journey. Today, we will be discussing communication approaches and techniques during this new hire orientation, and I will leave the end open for any questions that you may have. So here's the agenda. A little bit about myself will be the introduction, organizational communication strategies, 3 attributes that correlate with one of those strategies, organizational communication methods, 3 attributes that correlate with one of those methods, summary, and any questions or concerns you may have. So the introduction, a little bit about myself. Well, I received my bachelor's in human resources at the University of Missouri. Shortly after, I worked their human resource department for about 10 years before coming to Meriton Robotics. I have been with Meriton Robotics for about 7 years, and it has been an exciting journey. We genuinely uphold an open door policy and strongly encourage you to reach out to our human resource department or leadership with any questions that you may have during your time here. We're here to support you every step of the way. So you may be asking yourself, what is direct communication? So simply put, direct communication is a style of conveying straightforward, comprehensive, and transparent information in a non-ambiguous way. So it's basically a form of communication that leaves no room for guessing. The message is presented very clearly and unmistakably to the listener. Direct communication is conveyed in an honest manner with no discretion. Nonverbal signals such as body language or facial expressions are absent. It's pretty straightforward. The speaker delivers confidently without hesitation, and the style is always candid and to the point. So, here are a few examples of direct communication when used effectively. I noticed multiple grammatical errors in your recent report. Please review the current and correct them before resubmitting. Please let me know if you have any questions. Here's the second one. This is not the price that was advertised on the website. We are prepared to pay the price that was listed on the website. Here's the third one. I understand the deadline is May 5th, 2025. I would need an additional 2 days to complete the task. So those are just some pretty straightforward ways of communicating directly. And communication strategy number 2 would be indirect communication. So indirect communication is a contrast to direct communication. Explains simply messages that are conveyed in more of a subtle, roundabout way. Communication that often relies on body language, tones, or hints. And finally, communication that may avoid blunt language not to raise tension or avoid conflict. A lot of people use indirect communication for cultural reasons, not to offend someone. So you may see some indirect communication used sometimes across work, but it looks that direct communication is preferred in a professional environment, but sometimes indirect communication can be effective. Here are some examples of indirect communication when used effectively in a business situation. This is an interesting angle. Maybe we can explore other options alongside it. So this dialogue keeps it respectful while exploring other options. Do you think you would have time today? This form of communication respectfully requests action to be taken and asking if the individual will have time to review something today or have time to do something today. The third one, I would like to hear your thoughts about the topic if you are open to sharing. So, this is a subtle way to include someone in a group who may be more on a quiet or reserved side to not put them on the spot if they are not wanting to be put on the spot. I found that in many situations, both business and personal, people tend to communicate indirectly. While this form can work in certain contexts, it's often less effective in business settings where it may lead to misunderstandings or confusion as to what's needed. But when used thoughtfully, indirect communication can still be effective, especially in situations that calls for diplomacy or cultural sensitivity, as stated before, or conflict avoidance. So, three attributes that correlate with direct communication. One would be clarity. This message leaves little room for confusion or misinterpretation as the message is, well, stated clearly. Assertiveness. This message is given with credence. So the assertive communicator doesn't just state their point, they do so in a way that shows that they trust their judgment and value mutual respect. This approach helps build credibility, foster trust, and encourage honest communication in both personal and professional settings. And then, of course, confidence. The message is conveyed with confidence as the speaker may speak with authority without being aggressive. And then we go over to the two types of communication methods. The two types that we'll be speaking about today will be email and social media. So first will be the email. Business situations where email method is used effectively will be meeting confirmations, follow up after a conversation, project or company updates. So with email, I like emails because they enable clear, documented, efficient communication all across the levels of the organization. So everyone can be made aware of changes at the same time. Sometimes people can respond to the group or to the sender, and everything is documented. I like to call it maybe like a paper trail with the date and time. It allows employees to share information quickly with individuals or small groups while also creating a written record that may be referred to back as needed. Some may even call this, again, paper trail. So they have emails have folders where you can hold on to email for the life of your career. And you can always go back and reference emails from years and years ago. It's useful for communication policies, providing updates, assigning tasks, and managing accountability across the board. And business situations where social media is used effectively would be customer support, of course, marketing, and engagement. So with social media, of course, most platforms are free of charge. So as far as the cost of it, it's very cost efficient. Customer support, a lot of times companies are able to direct message their customers who are not happy with something, and they can get real time responses. Or even if a customer comment on a picture with their dissatisfaction with service, a lot of companies have a social media page where they can reach out or respond to the email and maybe follow up in a personal direct message. So those are excellent forms of communication. And then just the overall engagement of social media. People are free to express themselves. So we are able to get honest opinions about our product or our brand. And we're able to, even as the term go viral. So people are able to share our posts and broaden our market. And of course, marketing again, since social media is free for the most part, we can open up a page on social media free of charge, post our photos, and the customer will then in turn share or even click on the link to our product. So, three attributes that correlate with social media communication. One will be interaction, the one-on-one conversations in real time between the two customers or between us or our social media director and the customer. The virality due to public visibility, the potential to reach a broader audience, as mentioned earlier, and personalization. A social media page can be designed to attract a specified audience. So, for example, if we had a cupcake business, people who are into cupcakes, maybe in Phoenix, Arizona, we social media have that versatility where you can specify who you want or attract who you want on your page. So, in summary, we explore how direct communication is confident and to the point, ideal for giving instructions or feedback, in contrast to indirect communication, where it's more subtle and often useful in sensitive or culturally diverse situations, but it can be useful in business situations when used properly. Although direct communication is preferred in business situations. And email remains an essential tool for business interactions, which is essential for providing written records, confirming meetings, sharing project updates, and maintaining clear, organized communication around teams and the entire company overall. If there was some type of promotion, like last minute for one of the higher ups, we can know about it all in real time. We do know that Merrill Robotics is global. So even though we can't be in the same room, we will all be in the know at the same time or relatively at the same time, depending on the time zone. And finally, social media helps us to connect with customers, promote our brand, and provide real time support. Most importantly, our customers feel heard on social media platforms, which was not always the case before social media. I don't feel like customers felt as heard as they do now. Everyone tend to have a voice on social media and are responded to for the most part. And finally, if anyone has any questions, please reach out to me. My number is 1-866-394-9999. My email address is latoya.irvinghr@mrobotics.com. And before we close out the slides, did anyone have any questions? Well, congratulations on your new role. I'll let you get back with your leadership. Thank you.